I published my first book, my memoir, The Daughter of the Innocent Man, in 2024. Since then, I have expanded my literary work and to include a self-help book, a prompt journal, 2 children's books, and 2 coloring books. I'm an author, advocate, and speaker, and host of this podcast, Authors, Writers, and Wannabes, where I welcome weekly guests and empower fellow writers with insight, support, inspiration, practical advice, and encouragement as they navigate their creative journeys.
Good evening. Good evening. This is Noelle, host of Authors, Writers, and Wannabes. Tonight is March 23rd, 7:01 p.m. And I have a guest with me, Miss Pam. And our topic tonight is In Their Shoes. Well, that's the name of her book, In Their Shoes, Depression. It talks about depression. But the name of our topic tonight is Power in the Pain, Depression. So I'm handed over to Pam so she can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Pam Wells. I'm from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. So a little distance away from Noelle here. Happily married, 46 years married. Little tidbit for you. My husband knew me exactly 2 weeks when he proposed, and then we got married a few months later. So it happened really fast, which I don't recommend, but it worked out fantastic. He's a great guy. So we have 2 adult kids, my daughter who is married and a son who's not and probably won't ever get married, but he's a unique individual. Let's just leave it at that. He's an interesting person, but has trouble with relationships. Anyway, I don't know in your intro if I'm a writer or a wannabe, but I think I was a wannabe for a long time and finally got busy and wrote a book.
So we go through stages. We go through stages. We're a wannabe at first, right? We want to write a book. Yes. We have a story to tell, but we don't know we don't know how to get that story out to the world. Then we start writing, okay? Then we're a writer. Okay? And then when we publish, we're an author. So the reason I named the podcast Authors, Writers, and Wannabes is because of those 3 steps. So Miss Pam, you have a cat too, right? Because your cat was all in. And so what's the cat's name?
The cat's name is Buddy. So I just call him my buddy, but he's Buddy.
Does he answer by Buddy?
If I call him, he comes. Yeah. He's cool. Just he's flooded our kitchen twice. Like he's like a mischievous little boy. So
how has he flooded the kitchen?
Flooded the kitchen twice. Well, because on the side of the sink, there's that little tiny tap for drinking water, which is very easy for him to turn on just by nudging it with his nose. He was able to turn the water on. And I've never known a cat that likes water as much as this one. So he nudged to turn it on. And then as he's drinking, he kept moving the tap over farther and farther. So it was away from the sink and now over the counter. And then the water just filled the counter and then onto the floor. So the first time we caught it pretty quick, but the second time, the entire floor was wet. Oh. So my husband had to put a shut-off valve under the sink for that tap.
Yeah, Buddy's a pretty thirsty buddy.
Yeah, he likes water quite a bit, but he's a lot of fun, but he's also trouble.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason I named this show Power in the Pain, Depression, is because Miss Pam has written a book, and the name of this book is In Their Shoes. It's about depression. She was in depression for about 3 years, Pam?
3. Well, I've suffered with depression for a good part of my life. I think I remember it as a kid sometimes, but I was always able to suppress it. And then I had 3 years of severe clinical depression that I couldn't hide.
How long ago was this depression?
Pardon me?
How long was the clinical 3-year span?
3 years.
How long ago?
Okay. How long ago? So we're talking 2008, 9, 10, thereabouts.
Okay. And when did you start writing this book, In Their Shoes?
Oh, not until after I started to improve. I did eventually start to improve. And I started thinking mostly about my husband, because when I was going through depression, he would often ask me, like, what can I do? What can I do? He wanted to help me. You know, men, they like to fix things. He couldn't fix it. So he just said, what can I do? And I just assured him that he was doing it just by holding me, loving me, and just sticking by me. Because when I was in the hospital, I was hospitalized a number of times, but I often saw women dropped off by their husbands, and their husbands saying, I won't be there when you get back. So
was he psychiatric units?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, seeing women dropped off by their husbands and with, you know, this is it, marriage is over, it would be really hard. And thankfully my husband wasn't like that.
Yeah. Actually last year I had to go, I was battling depression. Last year I was involuntarily checked into a mental health institution.
Oh, really? Okay.
By the court. Yeah.
Oh my.
And I spent 6 nights in there. And I tell you, that was the best 6. I hated being in there because I was away from home and away from my family and away from work. But it was the best 6 nights of my life because it changed. It changed me. Did you think that it helped you?
Oh, definitely. I know I was seeing a therapist during those 3 years, and when she first mentioned that I should be hospitalized, I mean, it was just like panic. I was terrified to go. I think that's where Hollywood has done a great disservice to the mental health industry, because going to the psych ward sounds so scary.
Oh, it does.
But it wasn't. It wasn't scary at all. It was actually an incredibly peaceful time for me. The real difficult cases come in and usually come in at night, and by morning they're off to another hospital that's better equipped to handle more severe cases. But for myself, a lot of the people on the floor I was on just had mild problems similar to me, and we actually ended up making some friends. And yeah, it was just very peaceful. And I think I really needed a stop, because I was the kind of person that was just always going and always busy doing stuff. And this forced me to come to a complete stop. And I think that's what I needed at the time. I was sent later, like a couple of months after the first time, they sent me to a place called Homewood Healthcare Facility, which is in Guelph, Ontario. You've probably not heard of it where you are, but actually Betty Ford went to Homewood Healthcare Facility early in her journey and was so impressed with how the place was run that she used that to model her clinic. So that's pretty cool. And then I found an old picture on the wall that's called it Homewood Asylum, and that made me laugh because I was staying in an asylum. But it sounds so scary, and it's really not. And Homewood, I was there for 8 weeks. It was an 8-week, that's what you sign up for, like it's an 8-week thing. And you go, it's almost like you're in school. You go to classes, you learn cognitive skills, just a bunch of therapy things. Of course, there was a group session, and I don't know, you do tend to really bond with the people there and make friends. And I think I used a lot of those people are in my book. I interviewed people that I met along my journey. And when I started at Homewood, I thought, I'm not here to make friends. I'm just going to do the work and go home. I don't care if I get anybody's email. But halfway in, it's like something shifts, and all of a sudden these become your family. And so, yeah, we ended up exchanging emails.
Is that when you decided you wanted to write a book, when you were inside the mental hospital?
I think that's when I started thinking about it. Was glad I had all these emails of these wonderful people I met. So there's male and female in there. But yeah, once I didn't start right away. It just got me thinking about it, I think. But when I started improving, Yeah, I was the wannabe then.
He was a wannabe at that time. He was a wannabe at that time.
Yeah.
How ironic, because when I was in the mental health institution last year, that's when I decided I needed to write a book on healing.
Yeah.
And I got a few of the girls' emails from there so I could talk to them. And I was actually interviewing Honey while I was in there.
Oh, good for you. I wasn't that advanced. I wish I was. I wish I was. It would have been so helpful. But
and I was going to write a book about that institution, but I was like, this may not be a good idea.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
in the book, all the names are changed.
So many people are embarrassed or ashamed to admit themselves into mental health institutions.
Yeah.
So
well, I was terrified at first. So yeah.
Yeah. So were you embarrassed or ashamed?
I think I was so past that point. I had been struggling so hard. So I think, yeah, I was past the point of caring. Who knew? So I wasn't ashamed. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's a little hard to admit you've been admitted to the hospital for depression. Doesn't sound so bad, but when you say, yeah, she's been admitted to the psych ward,
right.
They don't like it that you call it that. It's the mental health facility, but
mental health facility. Yeah.
Either way, it's what it is.
So would you say that it was beneficial to you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Just because it was so quiet and, yeah, just a doctor comes to see you each day, except for the weekends. And, yeah, it's, I mean, a lot of pills. They pumped me so full.
Yeah. Oh, honey, let me tell you about my experience. So, they gave me they didn't care that I had a psychiatrist already. Okay. They didn't ask his name. They didn't ask what pills I was on. They just they diagnosed me what they thought was wrong. And then they tried to serve me these pills. Now, one of those pills I had an allergic reaction to. So I was like, I can't take these pills. I've already tried to take these pills and I had an allergic reaction. So they gave me only like 2 more pills, and then they were trying to give me 2 more, and I was like, I'm not taking those, But I was, appointed by the court, so I was like, okay, do I want to get out of here, or do I want to take these pills? I mean, what do I want to do, So they were like, you have to be, in line and do what they say in order to get out of here. And I was like, oh Lord, just get me out, please. Whatever I got to do, just get me out. But it was so beneficial to me, those 6 nighs I spent in there. I mean, the group therapy. I mean. The counselor, the doctor was an ass.
Yeah, I've met some of those, so I get it.
The doctor wasn't. I complained about him. You know what he told me? He told me, I said I have to leave. I have work to do. He said, well, you should have thought about that before you did what you did. I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, I got depressed on purpose.
You got some good bedside manner.
Yeah.
All right, so you decided to write this book in their shoes. Probably you thought about it. You were a wannabe during the time that you were admitted into the mental health institution. And when you got out, shortly after you got out, you decided you wanted to write this book in their shoes. And you didn't really know the name of this book, right?
Shortly after I got out, I actually attempted suicide.
You did?
So, yeah, that happened first.
Okay.
It was a serious attempt. I don't need to talk about what I did or anything, but obviously I didn't succeed. But I think seeing how that affected my family helped me turn things around a bit too. It hit hard, and I honestly believed that everybody would be better off without me. Like, I truly believed that I was the burden and everybody's lives will improve if I'm gone, and including my husband's. Like, I think that's the nature of the illness, that you just get these thoughts in your head that are not true. But it felt like it was. I felt like I was doing everyone a favor by going off and just ending my life. But
now, why did you think that? Why did you think that?
Pardon?
Why did you think that, hey, let me end my life? This would be so much better on everybody else. Why would you think that?
Because I was so sad all the time there was no joy in anything. During those 3 years, I know that our family, all extended family, always got together at Christmas time. And there was one year when I just flatly refused to go. I didn't want to see my mother for a bunch of reasons. I just couldn't deal with people. And I just asked my husband, can we just take Christmas off this year? I said, let's just go on a trip. But we found out that when you want to go on a trip, the prices drop considerably once you pass January 1st. So we did end up waiting for the trip, but we stayed home for Christmas. We didn't go anywhere that year. And I just needed the downtime. It gets hard to be around people when you're feeling that low all the time. And I thought, if I go, I'm just going to bring everybody else down because I'm just going to sit there looking sad.
Can we talk about what caused you or led you to be in this depression state for so long?
Yes, as to why it was so long, that I can't answer. There's abuse in my childhood. Memories I had repressed that came up during therapy. That's why I say therapy was definitely beneficial, because it dug up a lot of stuff that I didn't even realize was in there, and helped me understand myself better. But
and this therapy that you had was only in adulthood, right? You didn't have it in childhood, or like
no.
in your 20s or 30s or 40s?
No, it never occurred to me. I mean, I was busy being a mom. So the kids were the priority. Any depression that rose up when I was raising my kids, well, it was short-lived. It was just something I could push down or ignore. So it wasn't that serious when my kids were little. Plus, I really enjoyed my kids. I loved being a mom, and I loved my kids. So, well, still do. I've always really enjoyed them. So being home with them wasn't like I was a stay-at-home mom, and that was my choice, and my husband agreed with, and that was good. So
now, do your kids ever say, "Hey, Mom, when I was little, I noticed you were sad"? Did they ever notice that?
They've never brought it up. No, they've never brought it up. I also had chronic headaches back then, so they would know more about me having a headache, would probably resonate with them more. And the headaches, they figure stem from the abuse I had as a child as well. Stomach problems and headaches are very common symptoms of someone who was abused as a child.
Yeah. Do you want to go dive into the abuse or no?
Well, I can a little bit. I don't want to go there's not a lot of details in the book. I do mention it, but my father sexually abused me. He apparently did not do this to my sister, but he did it to me. And at one point he gave me to his father to play with. So yeah, I went through quite a bit as a child with him, and my mother she was a narcissist. Unless it involved her, she just wasn't interested. So she never showed us, any of us kids, she never showed us any love or affection. We always had food to eat, and we always had clothes to wear. So I thought we had a very good, healthy, happy family. But it's not until I was an adult that I realized, wait a minute, some of that stuff's not normal. It was actually when I was in therapy, when I was telling my therapist some of my stories from my childhood, she said, so she told me later, she said she was going like, that's not normal, that's not normal, that's not normal. And then when she started explaining some of those things to me, I realized, yeah, I was not in the ideal home that I thought I was in. But
so you thought it was normal?
Yeah. I mean, you don't talk to your friends about it, and I didn't. There was no teaching. I was born in 59. Okay, so I'm dating myself here, but growing up in the 60s, nobody talked about childhood abuse or good touching, bad touching, that sort of thing. And I was a very timid and shy little kid. Friendly with other kids, but when it came to approaching an adult, I would have been terrified. Yeah, because adults were scary to me. So but even if I had gone to a teacher or somebody and told them what was going on at home, they wouldn't have known what to do. So they would have probably called my parents, who would have said everything was fine at home and called me a liar or whatever, and I would have gotten in big trouble when I got home. So I knew better than to go to an adult. Actually, it never occurred to me to go to an adult as a kid.
And you know what? Most kids don't. They hide it.
No,
not hide it, but they, I don't know. I was never sexually abused as a child, so I don't know, but I have family members who were. And she never came out until she was an adult. And it was by her father as well.
That's very common. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very common, and it's cyclical.
And
So,
you think
you know,
when a parent is abusing a child, the child doesn't stop loving the parent.
yeah,
They actually stop
yeah.
loving themselves. So
So
I
when you got older, did you hate your father?
mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings.
I had a picture of him hanging up for a while till I went through all these years of therapy, and then that picture got put away. I didn't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah.
I did go through, you have to go through the denial, the acceptance, the anger, and then I finally settled into a place that was more healthy. But I did go through all that. But he died actually the month before our wedding. So I never have to wonder if he touched my daughter. So for that, I'm grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen on that.
Yeah.
So this trauma and abuse led you to depression, and you've had long-lived depression, and you wrote a book, In Their Shoes. Tell us about this book.
Okay. I decided, because my husband was, sorry, this is the book, if you can see it. Because my husband didn't know what to do. Also, we were watching the news one day, and a story came on about a woman who suffered from postpartum depression for 2 years. And my husband goes, 2 years? Good grief, talk yourself out of it. And I thought, okay, he doesn't get it at all. And I just started thinking, there's a lot of people out there that don't get it. So I decided to interview people, ask them all the same set of questions. I think, how many questions did I have? Oh, sorry. Questions. I had 9 questions I asked, and I recorded all their answers in this book. It's basically, how do you want people to treat you? What do they do that you don't like? What is something people say that really irritates you? Or what is something that you wish people would do? People just don't know what to do. And I think for the most part, we don't want pity. We just would like some understanding. So I just thought, I'm going to write this book and educate people about what depression actually feels like. Because for someone who's never experienced it, you can't imagine what it feels like. You just think of it as being sad, but it's a lot more than that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, so when you started seeing the psychiatrist, what word am I looking for? I just blanked out. What did they diagnose you with? Yeah.
Oh, just clinical depression. She didn't give it.
Just clinical depression.
Yeah.
And you said they had you on what, 9 medications?
9 different medications. Yeah. My sister-in-law is a nurse, and she came here to visit, and she looked at my pills and didn't say much and just nodded. But when she was alone in the car with my husband later, it's his sister, she said, boy, they've got her on a lot of stuff. And I just felt like a walking zombie. You know, you just, there's no joy in anything. Sorry.
Yeah, my psychiatrist he tried me on 3 different medications 1 week. And this was during COVID? This was either 20 or 2021. I locked myself in the house for 2 weeks. I did not go out the house. And I told him to take me off this medication. This is not working.
Yeah.
So we finally found something that worked, which I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. And I still take my medication, and I know you and I talked about.
Yeah.
And last year when I went to the mental health institution, I had taken myself off medication and had an outburst.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was in the mental health institution for 6 nights, is because I took myself off medication, which I shouldn't have. And I was drinking.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's not a good combo.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no, it's not. But you did take yourself off medication, correct?
I did. When I felt that I was definitely making some headway and I was improving significantly, I went back to my psychiatrist and said, can we just lower the dose? And he flatly refused. He says, no, you stay with it as it is. Now, I wasn't upset with him because I figure he gets a lot of patients coming to him saying they're better, and then they go off their meds and disaster strikes. And I mean, this was only, when did I come to him? Maybe a couple of months after the suicide attempt. So like I started feeling better. It's just, yeah, anyway, so I'm trying to keep myself on track.
Right.
And I let another, I think, few months go by. And then I said to my husband, this is ridiculous. I feel so much better. I don't want to be on these meds anymore. So he went online and researched every one of the medications I was on and said, well, it's not rocket science. You just start with one and wean yourself off very slowly. And then you go to the next one. And it's just like one pill at a time. That worked for me. Okay. Now that won't work for everybody. I never tell anyone to go off their meds. Make sure you, like, I just felt inside, I felt so much better. I wasn't depressed anymore. I wanted to get off all these pills. And the more pills I got off, the better I felt. All that zombie.
Now, how do you know you weren't depressed anymore?
I could feel it inside. I just knew it. My head was clear for the first time in 3 years. I wasn't feeling, I mean, I could still feel the drugs, but I wasn't feeling that heaviness. I always, for me, depression was like putting on an old winter coat, one that you've had for like 30 years. It's very old, it's very tattered, it's worn, it looks terrible, but when you slip your arms into those sleeves and it comes on, it feels very familiar because it's molded to your body, it fits you. So when the depression came on me, it's like I resist at first, but then once it's on, you just kind of settle in, and it's can actually become your comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I got to a point where I felt I was better, and then I just nosedived down, and that's when I decided I'm never going to beat this thing. So I decided suicide was my answer, and I'm so thankful it didn't work, because things have, mentally I improved. Now, I do want to mention that I have a physical illness now. Hope that's okay if I bring that up, because I'm in tremendous physical pain 24/7. Just imagine what it would be like if you're sitting on a chair made out of cactus. I have a special cushion on this one right now, which helps, but it hurts to sit. It hurts to stand too long. It hurts. The more I do, the more it hurts. I'm in so much pain. But my daughter asked me what was worse, the depression or the illness I have now. And I said, oh, the depression was worse by far. If someone, magical being came to me and said, I will take your illness away from you and give you the depression back, no, I'll keep the illness over that. It's like, at least now I can laugh with my husband. We can chat. We can watch a movie together or a sitcom and laugh ourselves silly over something. I can do that even though there's pain there, but it takes my mind off the pain. So it's good. But the depression.
I bet your husband is glad Pam is back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
46 years married. Yeah. And for him to lose you throughout those years, because that's kind of like a loss, right? He's like, who is this? Who is this?
Oh,
woman?
it must have been really hard for him.
Yeah. I don't like her like this. What can I do? And he's feeling helpless. You're helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And, thank God that you got on track. If you're just now tuning in, I have Pam Wells on the line from Niagara Falls. And she is an author of In Their Shoes, which talks about depression. And that's what we are diving into is we've already talked about how she came about and realized that she was depressed. She was depressed for a long time. She has taken herself off medication. She is much better. But let's go back to the book, Pam. So where did you come up with that name, In Their Shoes?
Okay, I'm going to admit that I used AI to help me with the title. AI is not used in the writing of this book. Not one word in this book is AI. I wrote this book before AI was a thing. It took me years to get this done. but I did go into AI because at first I had just called it How to Help Someone Who's Depressed. And somebody somebody said to me, you got to change that name. So I was like, oh goodness, what do I call it? So I thought In Their Shoes is quite appropriate because it's giving you an idea what it's like to live in the shoes of someone who's depressed. For someone who doesn't understand depression but cares about someone that is depressed, this is a really good resource for them. If you are depressed, this will help you feel like you're not crazy and you're not alone. So it's good for both. One little analogy I use in the book is if, when you're driving down the highway and somebody cuts you off and it makes you so angry, right? And maybe something else happens and you get even angrier and you've got like this bubble of anger around you. Can you relate to that feeling? You've got this bubble of anger around you just because you're so in road rage. But when you get off the highway and you slowly head towards home, gradually that bubble evaporates and you just return to normal. Depression is a weight and a heaviness and a cloak of sadness that just comes bearing down on you, and it's a heavy bubble that never goes away. So when you feel that immense weight, it is a weight. You do feel like really weighted down and heavy. And when that never goes away, it's just a miserable way to live. Like
it is.
So it's a horrible way to live, and friends start to fade away just because, not because they don't care, but because they don't know what to do. I would get friends see me on Sunday at church and then say, I'm going to call you this week, we'll go out for lunch. And I didn't really want to go out for lunch, but it really, really hurt when they forgot.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't really want to talk to them about all of the things that are going wrong in your life and what you're thinking, because you don't want to burden them or discomfort them. So
I mentioned some of those things in the book too.
Yeah. So you have, is it 9 questions or 9 people that you interviewed?
9 questions. There are some people, there are a handful of people that took that list of questions and answered them all in one big chapter themselves, or one big paragraph, I should say, more like not a chapter. But those are included in there at the end. But the people that, I had 9 questions, and most people answered the questions in order. And then I put that all together in the book.
How many people did you interview?
Oh, goodness. Probably 15 to 20, somewhere in there.
Wow. And you know what? People hide their depression. People suppress their depression. You can pretty much tell when somebody's depressed. I think so. Can't you?
Sometimes you can, and sometimes they hide it well. It depends. When I was in the deep clinical depression, people could see it. I couldn't hide it very well. I could hide it earlier in my life, but when those 3 years were going on, I wasn't able to hide it. So people could see it.
What do you think some of the symptoms are of depression? I know sleeping a lot, isolating yourself from people.
For me, I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want to be around anybody. Yes, I'm trying to think. Yeah, you either sleep a lot or you don't sleep at all. It can be one or the other.
Yeah.
Or you sleep through the day and then you can't sleep at night, which doesn't help. Some people Some people overeat. Some people don't eat anything and then end up losing a lot of weight. I overate. I have to say, I kept a healthy stash of chocolate beside me, and I knew.
Baby, I was eating chocolate, pizza, and everything, girl.
Yeah. Well, when I got better, I was mad at myself for doing that.
I was too, because I gained 20 pounds from that.
Yeah. Oh,
and people don't realize, like I think this actress, I can't remember her name, but she had gained a lot of weight, and people were on social media saying, how she's gained a lot of weight, and she came back and said, hey, you don't know what's going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
And she said something about how she was depressed. Depression can make you, eat. Depression can make you not eat.
Yeah. It can go swing both ways.
And depression is real, Depression
Oh,
leads
yeah.
to suicide, like you tried to attempt, So when someone says they're depressed, or they're gonna attempt suicide, take that seriously.
Please take it seriously. Even if they never attempt suicide, just the fact that the thought is in their mind is enough for you to take it seriously.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, for the
I never attempted it. I've never attempted. Yes, I did. I attempted back in. Well, I just took a lot of pills back in. I guess that was my call out for help. I wanted my mama to, and she came over. But I never went to the hospital or anything. And a lot of times that is a call out for help when people say, "Oh, I'm going to kill myself." So people just want to be noticed sometimes. But I thought about it like about 3 years ago. Yeah, I thought about it. I was going through some things personally and in my relationship, and I thought about it, but I never attempted to do it. But yeah, depression is real, and that's when I got on that medication. That's why I went to go see a psychiatrist and got on medication. Yeah. But you know what? I wish. So I didn't have any trauma like that. That you spoke of, but I'm adopted, so there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in my mind and trauma just from being adopted. So that's what I think led me into depression a lot.
Well, it's like I say, it's not the same for everybody. Like everybody's story is unique.
Right. Yeah. And then it could be hereditary.
Yeah.
I
know my mother had battled depression sometimes, and my son has.
Yeah, my father was schizophrenic, and my mother battled bipolar. I think she's depression. So I have they put me on some schizophrenic medication. I was like, that's the one that I had an allergic reaction to. I was like, I ain't taking this.
Oh yeah, no.
I ain't that crazy. I may be crazy, but I ain't that crazy. I do talk to other people that are not in the room sometimes, though. Oh, goodness. All right. So where did you come up with these 9 questions?
Oh, goodness. Just thinking about it. I can tell you what some of the questions are, if you like, because they're not deep. The first one is, can you give a brief explanation of how you feel when you're depressed? I know it's hard to sum up. Just do the best you can at explaining what it feels like to be in your shoes when you are depressed. See, I used the term in your shoes back then, and I can even.
Yeah.
Then I got, is there something that people say to you that makes your depression worse? Is there something people say that makes you feel better when you're depressed? And how do you want people to treat you when you're depressed? And how do you not want people to treat you? Does getting out of the house help when you're depressed? What types of social situations are most difficult? Those are put together in one. What type of invitations from friends do you like to get or wish to get? There were times when friends got together to do something and I wasn't invited. And oh my God, that hurt so bad. I didn't want to go. If they'd invited me, I probably would have said no, but that's not the point.
Right.
I felt like I'd turned invisible and nobody knew I was there anymore. So, I mean, that was getting hard when stuff like that happens. But, and then the next question is, not everyone who's depressed is suicidal. Do you struggle with thoughts like that? Do you really want to die, or do you just want the pain to stop? Because that's usually the thing. Most people just want the pain to stop. And then what signals or signs are you giving off when you're depressed that you wish people would pick up on? So those are the kinds of questions I asked. And I gave people plenty of room to say what they wanted. And at the end of the questions, I said, is there anything else you would like to add that I didn't think to ask, but you think is important to say? And I gave people room to say things like that in the book as well. So it's not a very thick book. As you can see, it's actually quite thin. That's deliberate, because if you're depressed, you're not going to pick up a thick book. It would just be overwhelming. And the person who wants to help someone who's depressed doesn't want an encyclopedia. They just want, give me some quick tips, something that'll help. So that's what it's for.
Have you, because what I did was contact some of the, I wrote up a letter, because I wrote that healing journal that I was telling you about. I wrote that after I released it, in 2025, when I got out of the mental health institution. I wrote a letter to quite a few of the mental health institutions around here, and included a copy of my book, and asked if I could maybe share, if they could purchase, of course, and share that with their program to give to. So you may want to think about that.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, the people that were in the mental health institution was going through the same thing you were.
Yeah.
Maybe not the exact same story, but they were depressed.
Yeah.
So that would be a good idea for you to do around the Canada area.
When I went to Homewood, it's actually quite a big facility, and a lot of celebrities go there, although I didn't see any. Apparently Michael Jackson went there at one point, and Jim Carrey, that's the other one I heard had been there before. I think they put them on a separate floor, but this was a big building, and this one floor I was on, that entire floor was for people with depression. There was a floor below us that was for people with substance abuse problems, and then there was one for when you have these flashbacks to the name's not coming to me.
Well, that's me all the time. I forget stuff all the time, girl.
when you have PTSD, that's the word.
PTSD, yeah. It was a lot of military people in that unit.
Yeah, so there's probably quite a few people there like that, but the floor I was on was just for depression, and I was amazed at how much laughter there was on that floor. In spite of the fact that everybody was depressed, we still found ways to laugh. And there's a meme on Facebook that says being popular on Facebook is like sitting at the cool table in the mental ward. And that made me laugh because I responded to the meme by saying, hey, I have sat at the cool table in the mental institution. And I got to tell you, it's really fun. Because we had so many laughs at lunchtime, and you do really build some great friendships because they're all in the same type. Like everybody's story is unique, but the depression is there for everybody, so we all get it and we understand each other. And sometimes somebody would have a breakdown while they were in there, and then of course staff would come and help out. But it was just, I think I got a lot of inspiration from being there and being amongst those people. There's also some people who know me and heard I was working on this book that said, hey, I would like to be part of your book. And it was somebody I didn't know that was struggling with depression. So I was like, absolutely. So there's a mixture of people in there from different backgrounds, different races, whatever. I didn't ask what their belief system were. It was we just talked about depression.
Yeah. So that wasn't necessary. Yeah. No.
So
do you believe pain is necessary for growth?
There are times when growth has come out of pain, but to say, is it necessary? I'd like to say I hope not. But definitely good things can come out of the pain for sure.
What would you tell a family member of a person that's battling depression?
Well, first thing I would do is just tell them that I get it. Okay. I understand. And I would just say, I'm here for you. If you ever want to talk, I'm here for you. But I wouldn't wait for them to reach out to me, because often a depressed person won't reach out.
Now, so, what would you tell a family member?
I would say, send them, keep in touch. Like, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to send them a long letter. Send them an email with 2 sentences. I'm just thinking about you. Hope you're doing okay. Or send them a text once a week, maybe even just do something. Send a card in the mail. I had one dear friend come by with flowers for me once, and she just bought them at the grocery store. They weren't expensive at all. But I got to tell you, it just touched my heart so deeply that she brought me flowers, and it meant so much. So yeah, I think I would just try to be there for somebody. Don't judge, be understanding. Patience is necessary because you give them good advice and they won't take it. You need to understand that or you will probably understand, but people need to understand that someone who's depressed, so they want attention, but they don't want attention. They want to feel your love, but they don't want to be smothered. So I would just say, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to spend any money. Just stay in touch with that person and let them know you love them and you care for them.
I would say be patient and don't give up on that person.
Yeah, never give up. Never give up. Goodness sakes, I gave up on myself.
Because, I mean, we want the people around us that we love and love us to love us through that tough time.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
And if someone we love gives up on us, that would spiral someone into suicide.
Yeah.
So people out there, if you have a loved one that is depressed, do not give up on them. Be patient with them and listen to them. Try to find out the source.
Yes.
And take them to counseling and get a therapist.
Oh yes, definitely. And in counseling, I saw two that didn't work out before I found a third, or somebody found a third one for me that worked. So if you see a therapist and you just don't click, don't hesitate to find another one.
Right. Because I hired one and he and I did not click. I think he was more into me than my helping me. So I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. This is going to be our last session. So don't be afraid to fire a therapist.
Exactly.
Okay, because you can. If you're paying them, you can fire them. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So twice I had to fire someone. So the third time worked out. I want to tell you one little thing that somebody did for me that was actually kind of funny, but it meant so much. I was with a group of women, and when our gathering was over, as I was leaving, one woman came up beside me and she goes, "You doing okay?" And I said, "I'm hanging in there." You know, you don't say much when you're depressed, but she said, "Is it a brown cow kind of sickness?" And I went, "Brown cow?" I'm like, I don't have the runs. Like, I wasn't sure what she was talking about. And then I said, "What do you mean?" And then she goes, Kahlua and milk. And I went, "Oh yeah, that would help." So she invited me over to her house and made me Kahlua and a brown cow, which is Kahlua and milk. But she made it in a tall glass because you're not supposed to drink when you're on the meds. So they probably had like this much alcohol and the rest was milk. But it meant so much to me because she showed me that she cared. She didn't know what to say, but she did something. And it was I don't know, 5 or 10 years later that she was.
And if you're on medication, do not drink on that medication.
No, you should not drink the medication.
That's why I had to stop drinking.
She made me I went
to AA because I was I was an alcoholic. So I went to AA. And when I went to AA, I had started taking my medication, took myself off medication, started back, took myself off. So within like 3 years, I took myself off and started back. But I was drinking heavily within those I think 2 years. The last year I didn't drink heavily. Like last year, 2 years ago I went to AA. 2 years ago, and then like just over 12 months ago, about 12 months ago. No, that's when I went to the mental health institution. That's when I stopped drinking heavily. I may have one drink a week. So if you are on that medication, do not drink. If you are on
you shouldn't. I do say that in the book too, that you should not drink. I knew of someone that struggled with depression who drank quite a bit, and it's like I just think you're making a thing worse. You're making a problem worse to do that. But I do get it. Like that, the alcohol can be a hard thing to pull away from too. So I'm not judging. Not judging anyone.
I mean, you're already, not in your right mind, when you drink. And then taking a medication with that, a psychotic medicine, no, not a good thing. No. So I got to ask you a question, Pam.
Sure.
What did writing this book teach you?
Oh my goodness. That if you're going to start a project, you got to stick with it till it's done.
Yeah.
But it also, I think I've learned to be a lot less judgmental. And I didn't think I was a judgmental person before, but I think I eventually learned that, yeah, I was towards other people when you I don't know, it's just easy to look at someone and think when you don't know anything, really.
So how do you say you were judgmental? By looking at other people who are going through the same thing that you went?
No, not through the same thing. I just anything. It can be anything, but like somebody who's late all the time used to drive me crazy because I'm obsessively early for everything.
I don't think that's judging.
I was sitting here it's something my parents drilled into me. So I was just, it's better that you wait for others than that they wait for you. So I became obsessively early, taught my kids the same thing. Thankfully, my husband likes to be early too, so that has never been an issue. But
well, you will be waiting on me for 5 minutes because I'm always 5 minutes late.
No, it's so if somebody was habitually late, that would drive me crazy. Like I had all kinds of things to say about that person. And yes, that person has their own struggles. Like there's a reason they're always late. And I shouldn't have been judging them for being late because that's not what it was about. It was like, I'm not a psychiatrist.
So who did you write this book for? Tell us who you wrote this book for, this In Their Shoes.
My first thought was my husband, just because he didn't understand depression. But I mean, I'd already at this point come out of it. I mean, you never know if it's forever or if it'll come back, but I'm believing it's gone because it hasn't come back since then. But I was thinking of him when I wrote it. Then I just started thinking about all the other people out there, friends that didn't know what to do and say they were going to call and didn't call. I just wrote it for everybody to help them understand what depression feels like, how hard it is, and what you can do to help. Because there are things you can do that would be beneficial to the other person.
There's 3 of those things you can do.
Well, first of all, like I said, be patient. Be very patient with them. Show them love and acceptance, not pity. Everything. Don't ever make a promise and not follow through, because I guarantee they won't forget. You tend to overthink. At least I did anyways.
That's 3 things that a person can do that is around a person that is depressed. What are 3 things that a person who is depressed can do?
Oh, who is depressed? Okay, well, we already touched on stay away from alcohol.
Yeah. And drugs.
Stick with the drugs that you're prescribed.
Right.
Don't touch any others. I've never dabbled in illegal drugs, so that's never been a problem for me. But yeah, don't mix drugs. And don't play with your medication without talking to your doctor. Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
I only did that because I knew I was better, but I don't recommend people do that. Getting out, though, is important. Getting fresh air. If all you can handle is a walk around the block, walk around the block. If all you can handle is a walk to the end of your driveway and back, then do that. Just important to do something.
You know what I have to add in there? I have to add in there, just because a psychiatrist is giving you all of this medication does not mean you have to take all of this medication.
Yeah.
Like in your shoes, you had 9 pills prescribed to you. That is ridiculous. Just for depression.
Yeah, I agree.
No. Do your research. Do your research.
Yeah, that's something I wish I had done. I wish I had. Yeah. I went, after I stopped seeing the psychiatrist, when I was with my GP, general practitioner doctor, okay, she was looking at the list of medications and she said, these 2 on here, she goes, those 2 should never be taken together.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's what Dr. I can't even remember his name now, the psychiatrist, that's what he prescribed. She just kind of rolled her eyes and said, yeah, not surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did stop taking the two together that she had talked about. But yeah, do your own research for sure. That's a really good advice. With the internet today, you can research every pill, and sometimes talk to your pharmacist too, because the pharmacist will know more about the pills than the doctor does often. So
yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, that's their business, eh? So they know more about
you. You're giving me 3 medications to treat the same thing. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, you're giving me 3 different depression medications.
Well, antidepressant, antipsychotics. And I just didn't understand how, like he said, if the doctor would come in and say, are you still having suicidal thoughts? And I'd say, well, yeah. And he'd go, okay, let's increase your medication. And he'd be writing out another one. And I'd be just, how is pill going to change how I think?
And a lot of those drugs, you can have suicidal thoughts. You need to read. Y'all need to do your research. Don't just start taking something just because the doctor gave it to you, because a lot of those medications will have you having suicidal thoughts when you would think that it would not, but it does.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you on that. And yeah, do your research for sure. I know when a person is seriously depressed, there's just no motivation to do anything. Like I knew things that I should be doing.
The loved ones come in. I think that's where the loved ones come in.
Yeah,
I think that's
that's actually very.
It's so sad. It's so sad to hear about people who have attempted and succeeded. You know, it's like, okay, what could someone have done around you, that would have helped you think differently, like that one. I don't know if like you can't fix it. If someone's depressed, you're not going to fix them. I know you just wish you had the right words to say to make them feel better, but it doesn't quite work like that. Just be there for them and love them through it, and make sure they know that you are loving them through it, whichever way works for you. Sometimes my husband would leave a chocolate on my pillow before I went to bed, and that was such a loving gesture. Like, it was so sweet. I can't tell you how much, like, something like that just touches me. And yeah, even a text from someone, that's why I say it can take 2 minutes of your time. Send a quick text off to that person so they know that. Just say, I love you. I love you. You are loved. You love.
And you're missed. We love you. We miss you. Something, whatever. Just say something. It doesn't have to be deep or profound, or just let them know that you still care about them.
And also too, people will tell you they're depressed on social media. They won't tell you directly, but you can tell indirectly. Yeah. If you know someone who has like battled it before, or they're making like different posts all the time that's like sad, negative, and they're your supposed friend, reach out to them and say, hey babe, you want to go? You want to go have lunch? Or if they, if they say no, just say, hey, I love you whenever you're ready. Or go over their house, just pop up. They may not answer the door, but at least you tried, so you don't have that's something on your conscience if something happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think I got one last question for you, Pam. And then we're going to wrap this thing up, girlfriend. So what advice would you give to writers who want to share their personal pain, but are afraid to be vulnerable?
Oh, I think once you start writing, you just let it flow. Just if you want to write it, I would say, don't worry about sentence structure or whether you've misspelled something. Just start writing. You can always go back and edit later. So just start writing and write as much as you feel like writing, and pick it up the next time you feel like writing some more. Just write.
I would say pray about it, because to share a personal experience, because I've written a memoir, so I shared a lot of personal experiences in that book, and in order for me to be vulnerable, I wanted to help others that have gone through that situation. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't for me. Writing that book wasn't for me. It was to help others, other adoptees who have felt, you know, the pain that I have felt, who have gone through the things that I have gone through. I would say pray about it, meditate, put it down. If you can always go back and say, hey, I don't want to include that, because I wrote my book like 5 different times. I had so much stuff in that book that when I went, you know, when I went to, you know, start editing, I took a lot of that out. I was like, I don't know if I want to share that with the world, but I know I wanted to share pinpoints and very important things that could possibly help someone else.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that helped keep me motivated, because there were times with, like, this book took years to get done just because it was a hard topic to work on. And you got to protect your own mental health too. So if it was weighing me down, then it was good to put it aside. But the fact that I really was writing this, not for me, but to help others, helped me see it through.
Right.
So.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to say to the audience?
It's available online. It's available on most online book sites. Obviously Amazon, but Barnes and Noble, a lot of Canadian book sites as well as American. So just look for it online. And,
so you are going to look for In Their Shoes by Pam Wells. If you are battling depression. It's
actually Pamela J. Wells, because there are actually more than one Pam Wells that's an author.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Pamela J. Wells.
Pamela J. Wells, In Their Shoes.
Okay. If you're battling depression, if you know someone who is battling depression, this would be a good book for them. If you are on your healing journey and you have recently gotten a divorce, or you have separated from your spouse, you could get my healing journal. And that is available on my website at noelletheauthor.com, or you can get it at Barnes & Noble online. No, online. You can't get that one on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Amazon. So Amazon or my website, noelletheauthor.com. You can also find my merchandise on noelletheauthor.com. I do have journals, authors, writers, and wannabes. I have tumblers. I have totes. I have T-shirts, and I have something else I can't think. But all of the merchandise is on there.
I haven't gotten into merchandising, but that's okay.
And all of my books are on there as well. Yeah. So get your website, Pamela J. Wells. Are you writing some more books? Are you wanting to write some more books?
I don't know. I was thinking of maybe writing one regarding on chronic illnesses, because that's what I have. So it's like kind of, you could use most of the same questions, but pertain it, make it relevant to a chronic illness. But
don't stop it.
I don't know.
Yeah, keep going.
We'll see.
Girl, you are at home all the time, aren't you? All you got to do is pick up a pen and paper.
I don't even bother with that. It's my iPad and use voice to text.
Oh yeah, so I'm old school. I like pen and paper.
No, I think the first time I didn't use voice to text to write this, I used my laptop. I typed it out on my laptop. Yeah.
I wrote mine out, then typed it up. That way I could reread it, edit it at the same time, and do all of this. I'm really old school, but I appreciate you joining me tonight on Authors, Writers, and Wannabes podcast.
Thank you
can
for having
find
me.
us on Google. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple, all the podcast platforms. What did you say?
I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
Okay.
Yes, Pam from Canada. Yeah, Pam from Canada. And it's like on TikTok, I used to make all these. Well, you're running out of time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. You can also listen to us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Pam, I appreciate you joining me on the show. And good night to everybody.
Good night. Thank you.